Boo! Well, it's October 31st, aka Halloween. And you know, folks, always the dilemma when it comes to Halloween. What are you going to dress up as? I mean, is it going to be something classic like Dracula or the werewolf or the mummy, or maybe something a little more new, such as Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger? Or maybe it's the Menzoid. Well, I got to tell you, folks, my guest here today is Matthew Weissman. He reached out to me. He's a big fan of Rebel News. And he said for Halloween, he is going as the Menzoid. And, you know, Matthew, I got to tell you, I am absolutely flattered and honored that you are doing this. I mean, when I worked at Sun News, folks, by the way, there was a restaurant there called the Crowbar. They honored me with a sandwich named after me called the Menzoid Deluxe. Man, what do you think of that? That is the new Menzoid Deluxe, brand new sandwich today.
It looks delicious. This is a great place.
$9.95. You gonna buy that?
I already ordered a toasted West End. That's my favorite.
Well, we can delay that order, you know.
And then I'll be late for work.
I'm sorry to report that after almost 70 years in business, the Crowbar soon went out of business, but hopefully nothing nefarious is going to happen with your costume, Matthew. And I can see you even have a genuine Rebel News flash. Did you make that yourself, or did you find it on the ground after one of our reporters got assaulted?
Actually, we made it ourselves.
Okay.
We made the Rebel News microphone ourselves. What do you think, David Menzies?
I think it's fantastic. Take a look at that, folks. That is the genuine article. And, you know, I'm not surprised in a way because, Matthew, you are a broadcast student, I believe, at Humber.
Yes, I am a broadcast student at Humber College so that I can become a radio broadcaster.
Well, maybe one day if the dominoes fall the right way, you'll be a trained broadcast professional along with Lincoln J. and Efren Monsanto and et cetera here at Rebel News.
I actually want to be part of Rebel News.
Oh, don't so many say that, though, folks. So you wanted to do a little play acting, I understand, Matthew. You wanted to, I guess, reinvent yourself, reimagine yourself as David the Menzoid Menzies and interview me. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually am David the Menzoid Menzies.
Okay. So far, so good. All right. Fire away. What's your first question?
My first question I have for you is, what do you like to do for your free time, David, when you're not in the studio?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a good question. As I've often said, the reason why I am simply fat as opposed to circus fat is my cycling routine. So I live in Richmond Hill. I think you're in the area as well. And once you go a little north of Elgin Mills, beautiful cycling country. You're in the farmland. So that's what I do. Even when I don't want to do it, I feel I'm compelled to do it.
So as for the rallies we go to in Toronto, what have you seen happen at the anti-lockdown protests?
What I've seen mostly, do I call you Matthew or Menzoid? We'll stay in character, Menzoid. What I see mostly, Menzoid, oh, this is so weird in a way, but what I do see mostly is the fact that there is the hypocrisy and the double standard at play. The demonstrators, many of them losing their jobs, many of them losing their businesses. They were referred to in a derogatory fashion by Premier Doug Ford from day one as a bunch of yahoos. Of course, they embrace that, Yahoo Nation. And the double standard, as you know, Menzoid, is that if these were Black Lives Matter demonstrations, if these were pro-Tamil Tiger demonstrations, of course, the Tamil Tigers is a recognized terror group in Canada, they would be ignored. In fact, in the case of Black Lives Matter, the police actually join in and bend a knee. But when it came to the freedom fighters, the patriots, the anti-lockdown people, they were absolutely brutally taken care of.
So basically, like, these officers kneel towards BLM.
Yes.
Basically, they actually erase history off the face of the earth.
Well, you know what? I think when it comes to erasing history, we did see that with those kind of demonstrations, BLM and Antifa, because they were literally pulling down statues.
That's vandalism.
Oh, it's vandalism, all right, including the statue last year at my old alma mater, Ryerson University. Egerton Ryerson was pulled down. Did the cops do nothing? Nope. And did the university do nothing?
Here in communist dictatorship Canada, where the police arrested protesters at the freedom, not just in January of last year, but also earlier this year when the police smacked a Rebel News reporter, Alexa, smacked her to the ground.
You know what?
That's
a very good point you're making, Menzoid, because we're seeing the Emergencies Act inquiry unfold in Ottawa, and we have people testifying, oh, the horn honking, it was so triggering. Oh my goodness, that scent of diesel fuel, I couldn't bear it. Oh, boo-hoo. Meanwhile, my colleague, as you mentioned, Alexa Laval, folks, shot point blank with some kind of a cylinder in her thigh. Thank God it was her thigh, not her head. We might be referring to Alexa in the past tense now. We certainly had our civil liberties and our rights stripped away. And from the inquiry so far, it looks like there was no way invoking the Emergencies Act was needed. It was a complete overreaction. So, there was a flare of tyranny there with the Justin Trudeau Liberals. But remember, Menzoid, this is the Prime Minister who said before he got elected, he has admiration in his heart for the basic dictatorship of China.
Of admiration I actually have for China.
And we know how tolerant they are. How about you give me one more question and we'll wrap this thing up.
One more question. Do you think that if Trudeau had his way, he would send people who have different opinions like us to jail?
Well, you know what? A lot of us did go to jail, and a lot of us received an economic death sentence, i.e. people lost their jobs for not getting vaccinated.
Wow.
People lost their businesses. So there is that penalty. See, that's the biggest fallacy, I think, Menzoid, about the COVID-19 pandemic, is that people will say, well, nobody forced you to get the vax. There wasn't federal government agents holding you down and sticking a needle in your arm. But if you can't work as a nurse, as a police officer, as a firefighter, like I said, that's an economic death sentence. You don't earn money. You're suspended without pay. You can't buy the groceries. You can't pay the mortgage. And that was certainly egregious. So there you have it. You know what? Good job, my friend. I've never been interviewed by a chip off the old block. There you go, folks. I got to say, I'm deeply honored. I've had a sandwich named after me, and now I have a costume named after me. Does it get any better than that on Halloween? Keep it here. More of the Ezra Levant Show to come right after this.